Your thoughts on the firing of Mike Brown?
Awful. Yeah, awful. And the
Mike
reason
Budenholzer won the NBA championship with Giannis. 18 months later, fired. That's not a failure story, it's a blueprint. A handful of NBA head coaches lost their jobs last season. Some were champions, some even won Coach of the Year. Here's the crazy part. Most of them didn't fail. They just stopped keeping their superstars happy. Because in today's NBA, winning isn't enough. The NBA is only for superstars now. No wonder coaches keep getting fired. It didn't happen overnight. There was a time when the coach was the franchise. Red Auerbach lit cigars before the final buzzer. Pat Riley wore Armani and ruled locker rooms like kingdoms. Phil Jackson tamed Jordan, then Kobe, twice. But somewhere along the line, control flipped. Before social media, a coach's authority lived behind closed doors. Players could hate practice, argue in film sessions, even curse out the boss, but it stayed inside the walls. Once every player had a camera and a brand, that wall collapsed. Private tension became public narrative. And in a league built on image, narrative beats discipline every time. So, when LeBron made the decision, it wasn't the first power play. It was just the first one televised. It wasn't just a move to Miami, it was a message. Players realized they were bigger than their coaches, their GMs, and sometimes even their teams. Suddenly, stars dictated systems, rotations, and roster moves. The line blurred between leadership and popularity. And coaches, they became one-year therapists. You weren't hired to build, you were hired to survive. Look at the scoreboard of casualties. Frank Vogel, fired 18 months after an NBA title with the Lakers. Nick Nurse brought Canada a championship, then shown the door. But the most brutal test of the modern NBA came last season. Michael Malone, Nuggets, fired less than 2 years after leading Denver to their first ever NBA championship. Mike Brown, Kings, dismissed mid-season, just months after winning unanimous Coach of the Year for ending a 17-year playoff drought. Tom Thibodeau, Knicks, let go shortly after leading his team to 2 consecutive 50-win seasons and an Eastern Conference Finals appearance. Mike Budenholzer, Suns, fired after a single disappointing season, leaving the franchise to pay 3 different coaches simultaneously. The speed of the turnover has become absurd. Some franchises now pay more in fired coach salaries than they do for player development. Teams don't plan for stability, they budget for chaos. One year, you're parading down Main Street. The next, your team's social account quietly swaps your profile picture. And every front office spins it the same way. We just needed a new voice. Translation, our superstar got bored. You don't need a stat sheet to see the pattern. Winning doesn't save you, alignment does. The second your superstar loses faith, your contract means nothing. And the irony, the league's constant coach turnover doesn't even fix the problem. The NBA isn't a league anymore, it's a talent agency. And the head coach, just another manager trying not to get fired by his own client. If you want to understand why coaches don't last, follow the money. In 2025, star players make up to 60 times more than their coaches. LeBron, Luka, Giannis, and Tatum each represent billion-dollar ecosystems. Shoe deals, streaming deals, documentary deals. They're walking economies, global brands that outlive front offices. This season alone, the league's top 4 players will earn over $220 million combined, more than the entire payroll of 10 coaching staffs. A head coach, meanwhile, makes between $4 and $8 million. You're replaceable, a line item on a billionaire's spreadsheet. You don't discipline the franchise, you decorate it. The power imbalance is permanent now. When a coach benches a star, he risks alienating the business model. So coaches stop coaching, they start managing feelings. Behind every firing headline is a person who dedicated their life to control, to mastering film, analytics, and leadership. And now they're told control is the problem. Imagine spending decades earning authority, only to be told your authority kills chemistry. That's the quiet tragedy of modern coaching. The better you are at holding players accountable, the shorter your leash becomes. Monty Williams built a winning culture in Phoenix, gone. Bud built one in Milwaukee, gone. They weren't fired for failing, they were fired for no longer fitting the vibe. And that's the paradox. Every team says it wants accountability, but none can stomach it once the accountability stings their stars. There are only a few who've cracked the code, the true survivors of the superstar era. Erik Spoelstra, 2 championships, 6 finals in total. Steve Kerr, 4 championships, 6 finals in total. Spoelstra built a system so resilient that no superstar can break it. They either buy in or get out. Kerr built the opposite, a culture where stars feel heard and therefore stay bought in. Different methods, same result. Stability in a league designed to eat its own. Spoelstra didn't chase respect, he earns it every May. Kerr doesn't command loyalty, he builds it through trust. Together they represent the last generation of coaches who still hold real influence. Popovich passed them the torch. Everyone else is just trying to keep it lit. Because in a league built for egos, the only way to survive is to coach the human, not the highlight reel. And now as the new season tips off, the next wave of pressure begins. Rock Rivers in Milwaukee, Giannis wants rings, not excuses. Willie Green in New Orleans, a team too talented to keep underachieving. Jamal Mosley in Orlando, expectations rising fast for a young core. Nick Nurse in Philly, a new system, same Embiid-sized pressure. They all know the truth. The job isn't to win, it's to outlast belief decay. To keep your star convinced just long enough to make it to April. Because the moment you lose his faith, your fate's already sealed. Every October, coaches preach fresh starts, but most of them are already on borrowed time. The NBA doesn't wait for your rebuild. Why doesn't the league fix this? Because chaos pays. Firing a coach resets the storyline. It gives talk shows new material, fans new hope, and ownership plausible deniability. A steady team is good business. A turbulent team is great business. Drama drives engagement. Engagement drives revenue. So, while fans call it dysfunction, the NBA calls it content. It's not a bug, it's the business model. So how do you coach in a league that fires you for coaching? You build something the players can't manipulate, culture. That's why Miami wins without superstars, why Denver doesn't implode under pressure, why the Spurs keep producing professionals even in down years. Because real culture doesn't need a trending hashtag. Spoelstra once said, "You can't fake culture. You either live it or you lose." And he's right. Every coach who survives the superstar era learns that lesson the hard way. So as the 2025 NBA season begins, rookies dream, stars shine, and coaches smile for cameras. But everyone knows the truth. A single losing streak, a single quote, a single look, and the firing countdown begins. Because in today's NBA, coaches don't control outcomes, they manage narratives. They lead for as long as the superstar allows it. The NBA used to be a coach's league. Now it's a celebrity ecosystem where the playbook is secondary to the power dynamic. And every October, the question isn't who will win the title. It's which coach's seat is already warming up. The NBA is only for superstars now. No wonder coaches keep getting fired. Check out a coach who left on his own terms, Larry Legend.